therapist ended our session early and said, "I can't see you anymore. It's not ethical." She wouldn't explain why. I had been seeing Dr. Wren for 6 months working through anxiety and family issues. She was warm and professional, and I felt like we were finally making progress. Then last Tuesday, I walked in for my regular appointment and she looked pale, like she had seen something disturbing. I sat down and she immediately said we needed to end our therapeutic relationship. I asked if I had done something wrong. She shook her head and said it was nothing I did, but she could not continue seeing me and could not explain the reason due to confidentiality. She handed me a list of other therapists in the area and wished me well. The whole interaction lasted 4 minutes. I left her office feeling like I had been punched in the stomach. I spent the next week spiraling. What had I said that made her react like that? Had I revealed something about myself that crossed a line? I replayed every session in my head looking for clues and found nothing. I called her office 3 times asking for clarification, but her receptionist said Dr. Wren was not available and would not be returning my calls. Then I got a letter in the mail from my mother. My mother and I had been estranged for 2 years after I discovered she had been lying about my father my entire life. She told me he had abandoned us when I was a baby. The truth was she had taken me and disappeared after their divorce when he was given primary custody. He had spent years looking for me before giving up. I only found out when I discovered old court documents in her attic. The letter from my mother was short. She said she heard I was seeing a therapist named Dr. Wren, and she thought I should know that Dr. Wren's maiden name was Belling. She thought it was an interesting coincidence and left it at that. My stomach dropped. Belling was my father's last name. I went online and searched for Dr. Wren's background. She had gotten married 12 years ago and changed her name. Before that, she had published articles under her maiden name, Dr. Tessa Belling. I sat at my computer, unable to breathe. My father had 2 children from his first marriage before he met my mother. I had half-siblings I had never met. One of them was named Tessa. She was 8 years older than me. I had found her social media years ago, but never reached out because I did not know what to say. I looked at her profile picture again. It was definitely Dr. Wren. My therapist was my half-sister. She must have realized it too. Maybe something I said triggered her memory. Maybe she looked into my file and recognized our father's name. Maybe she had known the whole time and finally could not handle it anymore. I wrote her a letter because I could not think of what else to do. I explained that I had figured it out and that I understood why she ended things. I told her I had spent years wondering about my father's other family and that I was sorry our first real interaction had to be so complicated. I did not expect a response, but she called me 3 days later. She was crying before she even said hello. She told me she had suspected who I was from our second session when I mentioned specific details about my mother that matched what her father had told her growing up. She said she tried to keep it professional, but every week it got harder. She finally broke when I described a recurring dream about a man teaching me to ride a bike. It was the same memory she had of their father teaching her. She had ended the session early because she was about to lose her composure completely. We met for coffee a week later, not as therapist and patient, but as sisters. She told me our father had died 4 years ago from a heart attack. He had never stopped hoping I would find my way back. He had left letters for me in case I ever came looking. She had been holding on to them, not knowing if she would ever get the chance to deliver them. She handed me a box across the table, and I opened it right there in the coffee shop. 32 letters spanning 20 years. Birthday wishes and life updates and apologies for not finding me sooner. I read them all that night and cried until my eyes were swollen shut. I have a sister now. I have a history I never knew existed. I have a father's love preserved in ink and paper, even though I will never hear his voice. My mother still does not know that I found Tessa. I am not sure I will ever tell her. Some bridges are meant to stay burned.